Now, when there is war, there is collateral damage. This is true for diplomatic spats as well. India and Canada are in the middle of one, and this is week 3 of the dispute. Trudeau versus India. After blaming India publicly for murder, Justin Trudeau wants to engage constructively and privately. He's seeking quiet reconciliation, but he's left a trail of destruction. He's given new life to the Khalistan issue. These are terrorists and separatists, and they've gone into overdrive. They're putting up posters like this one. It was placed in a Gurdwara in Canada. It confirms Niger's affiliation to a terrorist group. It portrays him as a victim, the man whose death has sparked this diplomatic spat, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Khalistanis have become more active in the UK and the US as well. In the UK, there's a rising security risk. Khalistanis are targeting Indian diplomats. Let me tell you what happened last week. India's High Commissioner was in Glasgow. He was invited to a Gurudwara, but he was stopped from entering. Look at these images. You can see that car. The Indian High Commissioner is inside. A Khalistani approaches the car. He tries to stop the Indian diplomat and prevents him from stepping out. So the High Commissioner chose to leave without attending the event. Over the weekend, there were more provocations. Khalistanis protested in London. They gathered outside the Indian mission. They burnt the Indian flag. And who were these protesters? Most wanted terrorists, members of sanctioned groups, Khalistanis who want to break up India. They were all present there in London, and they were caught on video. New Delhi has taken note of this. It has demanded that London take action. India wants these individuals arrested. On the radar are groups like Sikhs for Justice, SFJ. It's a banned group in India, and its members are active in the UK and Canada. Sikhs for Justice drives many Khalistan campaigns. They are violent. They engage in terrorist activities. They want to break up India to carve out a separate Sikh state. India has crushed this movement, but in countries like Canada and the UK, Khalistanis operate freely. Among them is this man, Paramjit Singh Pamma. He is a wanted man in India, a member of the KTF, the Khalistan Tiger Force. It's the same group that Hardeep Singh Nijjar belonged to. He was the chief of KTF. And Pamma is a member. Now, reports say he attended the protest last weekend. The protest outside the Indian mission in London. He was there. And what is London doing about this? Well, not very much. Khalistani groups in the UK frequently target Indians. You may remember what happened in March. There was a major incident at the Indian High Commission. They call it the India House. Khalistanis gathered there in large numbers. They vandalized the mission and smashed windows. One of them climbed the flagpole and brought the Indian flag down. 7 months later, the UK has finally taken some action. This week, Scotland Yard made an arrest. They held a man linked to the March protest. On what charges? Violent disorder. That's all. Attacking another country's diplomatic mission is disorder. The man has already been released on bail. Now, we cannot confirm his identity, but reports say he's one of the dozens of individuals named by Indian investigators. Then you have the US, same story. Khalistani terrorists are active here. Sikhs for Justice organizes referendums in America, and Washington turns a blind eye. And there's nothing to suggest that this will change anytime soon.
We're not going to comment on the unofficial referendum. What I will just say is that broadly across the board, individuals have the right to freedoms of speech, right to peacefully assemble in the United States, all of which are in line with our First Amendment protections and adherence, of course, to any appropriate federal and local regulations.
He says the referendum is unofficial, but it enjoys constitutional protections. This may not go down well with New Delhi. The Americans realize this too. A new report says they're being cautious. It describes what's happening behind the scenes, how the US plans to navigate these tensions. The report says America wants to, quote unquote, let things play out. They're apprehensive about pushing India too hard. And the same report also mentions Eric Garcetti, the US ambassador to India. Apparently, Garcetti has told his team that America's relations with India could get worse and that the US may have to reduce contact with Indian officials. The American embassy in New Delhi has dismissed this report. They issued a strong statement today. It says Garcetti remains committed to his engagements in India. Clearly, the Canadian Prime Minister has put his allies in a fix. His accusations have strained many relations. London and Washington are in a bind. They want to show support to Ottawa, but at the same time, they do not want to alienate New Delhi. And this could affect diplomatic business. It could shift priorities until the tensions ease. Having said that, the bigger worry still remains this: the activities of the Khalistani groups. Trudeau has let the genie out of the bottle. It will be very hard to put it back in.